Okay, how's everybody doing today? My name is Kent, and as you can see, the waves are a little bit better than they were the last time I shot a video out here. I'll turn it around, let you watch. So, yeah, the waves are a little bit better today, and it's a nice day too. It's pretty warm out here today, so yeah, pretty good day. Get my mic all set up here. Okay, I'm going to talk about something today I've been avoiding for a while. I want to talk about Bitcoin. I've talked about Bitcoin for quite a while, and the reason I'll tell you why I haven't talked about Bitcoin. But before I do that, I'm going to say something. Everybody that has videos, they always want people to click and subscribe. I never ask anybody to click and subscribe because I think it's too obvious. I mean, people know that. You get it in every video you watch. If you're on YouTube, you hear it so much, it gets to the point where I skip like the first 25, 30 seconds of every video because I get tired of hearing it. But what I'd like to do is, I'd like to put some affiliate links in the description. There's some Amazon affiliate links. I'd like to pick out 4 or 5 different things. And if you're interested in them, you know, that would help out more than anything, is to purchase something on Amazon through the affiliate link. And everybody uses Amazon all the time anyway. You know, why not give somebody a referral fee on it? So I'll put like 5, 6 items I pick out. One of them is going to be an electric bike because those things are everywhere, especially down here. They got tons of electric bikes. So a couple that I know are pretty good ones I'll put in the description. And then a few other items too. So anyway, back to Bitcoin. So the prevailing idea out there about Bitcoin is that Bitcoin is waiting for interest rate cuts. So generally, if the Feds cut the interest rates, people will use that interest rate cut to invest in more risk types of things like Bitcoin. So everybody's been sitting there going, well, as soon as we get these interest rate cuts here in September, Bitcoin's going to raise. But I just got through reading Coinbase, on a Coinbase what was that one? It's not Coinbase. It's not Telegram either. It's CoinDesk. I'm sorry, CoinDesk. So CoinDesk, I just got through reading on their thing. They said, oh, no. Expect Bitcoin to go down now because if we get an interest rate cut, that's going to mean that we're signaling for recession. And since we're getting in recession, then expect Bitcoin to drop. So there is no way of figuring this out anymore. They got such a mess going on that if interest rates go up, everything goes down. If interest rates go down, everything goes down. It's either way, everything's going down, and that's kind of the way they're painting that picture. So that's why I haven't really talked about Bitcoin too much, because it's kind of in a gray area right now where you don't know what it's going to do. You know, I knew that it was going to at least double after the ETFs, and then I figured it might go over 100,000 after the halving, and we really haven't got the bump from the halving yet. So I'm still waiting for that, and that's always been very regular. And if you get to halving, Bitcoin goes up, and it hasn't done it this time. So this would be an anomaly for Bitcoin if it doesn't rise after the halving like it usually does. It should be going up right now. It should be over 100K. In fact, a lot of the really, really good ones, the people that really watch Bitcoin closely, they all said that it was going to be over 100K after the halving. And so far, we haven't reached anything above 70, which is about where we were back, when the last time it went from 5,000 to 60,000, almost 70,000. So we're just right back to where we were a couple of years ago. We haven't really gotten over that hump yet. So that's why I haven't really talked about Bitcoin. And the thing last time I made a video, I said something in my video saying I expect something big to happen. And the last time I saw things similar to what I'm seeing today, we had something called the pandemic. In 2019, they had the same problem. Things were getting ready to really. We were getting ready for a major recession in 2019, and the Feds were quantitative easing. They were putting money into the system, but they couldn't put much more in because it was messing up the markets. So what happened then? When we had a pandemic. Well, then when we had the pandemic, guess what? Now they could reshuffle the deck. They could do everything they wanted to do. They could just stimulate everything because everybody had to be locked up and we had to be inside. So they were able to stimulate and create massive amounts of inflation, and that's why we're dealing with this today. So I'm expecting something similar to happen again because they're in the same kind of predicament now that they were then. And the predicament is they can't really lower these interest rates. they're actually not that very, very high. I mean, everybody's complaining about the interest rates because they've been around zero for so long. But, they're only like 5 or 6%. And I mean, I grew up in the 1980s. I was actually a stockbroker in the 1980s. They were over 20%. So, historically, these interest rates are pretty moderate compared to the 1980s and those days back then. I remember borrowing money from the bank, operating money as a farmer at 12%. And that's, that was a man killer. You had to come up with another 12%, make 12% over what your expenses were just to cover the interest rate. And we did that for years and years and years, borrowing money at 10, 12% for operating loans. And we'd borrow lots of money too, because it'd be a whole year's worth of our living and a whole year's worth of our expenses on the farm. And 10, 12%, that eats you up pretty quickly. So these interest rates aren't as high as they have been. And what happens is if they drop these interest rates, then everybody, and that's why I don't think they want to do that, because if they do that, I think that's very inflationary. Because you drop the interest rates, now people do the arbitrage thing where the interest rates go down, they start borrowing money, and they start raising prices. Because people start borrowing money, and then maybe home prices go up a little bit more, because now that you can build more money, you can get a better payment because you got a lower interest rate. Housing goes up higher, and like I said yesterday in my video, you can't raise housing anymore right now. Nobody can afford it now. So you lower the interest rates, these houses are going to go up in price. And then there's a lot of other things going to go on too. It's going to be very inflationary, and I don't think they can take that. So I'm looking for something big to happen in the economy. I don't know if it's going to be something like happened in 2020 or not, but yeah, like I say, in 2020 they were able to reshuffle the deck and do some big, massive things, and they were able to do it because of the economy shutting down. So who knows what they got up their sleeve, what they're going to do, but they got to do something. And I think everybody's demanding a rate cut, but at the same time, a rate cut is going to be I think it's going to be a catastrophe if they start cutting these rates again and go clear back down, because you're going to raise the price of everything. So, and like I say yesterday, most people can't do it, especially people that are on retirement income. They can't do it. So that's going to push a lot of people back into the job market. It's going to make it very difficult. Then you're going to have a higher unemployment rate and all that other stuff. So yeah, right now it's a pretty scary situation. And you got these guys, you don't even know, like a guy like Jerome Powell, how much he even participates in these decisions. I mean, he's the guy that gets out front and goes to Jackson Hole, and he's the guy that gets out in front of the audiences and answers the questions. He's the one that goes up to the Senate hearings. He's the one that kind of is the person that talks about this stuff. But I don't know that he really makes these decisions. I don't think he's the sharpest knife in the drawer. Just like Biden, you got two guys. You got Biden, he's not the sharpest knife in the drawer. And then you got this Jerome Powell. And these guys are really managing this economy, and not only the economy here in the United States, but this global economy. I don't think so. So let me see where I'm at on my time. Can't see it, it's too much glare on my screen. Yeah, so you can check out the waves today. I'll try to make these videos almost every day if I can. I enjoy making them, and I enjoy coming down here to the ocean. Nothing else, you can check out the girls. So, let me see where I'm at. Yeah, I'm at 850. I go for a few more minutes to talk about this. So, I don't know what to do with Bitcoin. I mean, I've invested in Bitcoin since 2016. So I've always been in Bitcoin, but it's just like sometimes it's more fun than others. And right now it's not that much fun. I like it when it goes up $3,000 or $4,000 a day. Those are the times I like it. I don't like it when it sits here and it'll run up to 65 and then drop back to 58. It'll run up to 69, then drop back to 62. I don't like that. I mean, it's just trading in this kind of this malaise. This is not really getting out of its own way, and I don't really like that. And I think that, right now, with the way, and actually, when you think about it, inflation is the interest rates are hardly able to cover the inflation rate. I think inflation is about 8 or 9%, and interest rates, 6%. So you're going to lose money on interest in this time, in this day and age. That's another reason why they really can't afford to lower them anymore, because there's already a pretty big difference between how much money is getting eaten up by the inflationary tax and how much you're getting paid on interest. So this is not prime situation for I'd say a lot of optimism for the future of this economy. I don't know what's going to happen. Who knows what's going to happen? A lot of things could happen. The only thing I'm worried about is if there was a lot of people getting scared and then there's a panic and then people start bailing on assets, which drives things down, like your home prices and everything else. I mean, if you start doing that, but it's got to happen because they're too high right now, so who knows how this is all going to play out. I don't know. I have no idea. I listen to some YouTubers. I read a little bit of the news. I don't ever watch the news, but I read a little bit of the news in like the CoinDesk and stuff like that. But it's just one day it says one thing and another day it says another thing. It's like it's the most unfocused thing, or what would you say? There's just no consensus on what people say are going to happen. But usually people are wrong anyway. That's why I don't really like to watch Bitcoin YouTubers, because they come up with all kinds of stuff, and usually they're wrong. So I'm not a big YouTuber I mean, if I'm going to find out information about Bitcoin, I usually don't go to YouTubers, because they always, they're trying to get views and they're trying to get clicks. So they'll put some clickbait title up, Bitcoin's going to zero by, November 1st, or they'll say Bitcoin's going to $1 million by December 31st. And you get this stuff all the time. It's just clickbait. They're just, all they're doing is just chasing views. They're not really thinking about the analysis or doing anything that makes any sense as far as Bitcoin's concerned. They're just chasing views. Nobody's sitting down and really giving you good analysis, or they're bringing up their candles and their charts and they're trying to chart that thing. I used to be a stockbroker. Man, I'm telling you, that charting thing is the most most unreliable thing you could ever use to determine the price something's going to go to. The charting thing. It's like they always heard it referred to as a stopped clock. Stopped clocks are going to be right twice a day. If you have a 12-hour clock, it's going to be right twice a day if it's stopped. At noon and at midnight. And the rest of the day it's going to be wrong. Well, that's the way this charting is. It's going to be wrong all, throughout the day. It's going to be wrong more times than it's right. So, but if you follow that stuff and you use it, then you probably can make your own judgments about that. But as far as I'm concerned, it's pretty useless to use charts to determine what the price of Bitcoin. Now, I do like to use the history of Bitcoin. Like when you look at something like events that happen. I mean, we do that with stocks too, with ex-dividend dates, stuff like that. Prices are going to change in scenarios like that. But in Bitcoin, that I knew what the ETF was coming, it was going to go up. I knew it was going up. You can't have somebody buying. But then again, we had that grayscale thing, so that took it back down. But by and large, it went up. It went from $30,000 to $60,000. So that was a good play. But then again, historically, it goes up after the halving. That hasn't really transpired yet. So yeah, you can use things like that to determine. Those are events, halvings every 4 years. ETFs being approved. Those are things that you can certainly play on if you're in Bitcoin. But just to sit down and watch a chart from day to day, and that's why I think trading Bitcoin's futures or Bitcoin options and stuff like that's crazy. Man, those guys are getting burned all the time. I got out of the option game clear back. I mean, I see a lot of YouTubers making their trading videos. They're not doing very well with their trading. They're selling you a program so that they can. That's how they're making their money. I saw there's a lot of these young people making these massive YouTube videos where they're making hundreds of millions of dollars and all kinds of stuff. I don't know if it's true or not, but and they're like 21 years old and they're traders. What they're doing is they're getting you to buy their programs, and then they're giving you their picks. But they're not making the money on the trading. They're making the money on selling the program, and that's what a lot of people do. It's getting to be more and more prevalent. People don't do what they say they're going to do. They sell you a program, or sell you some sort of a program to tell you or teach you, coach you to how to do it. But I doubt that they're making the money they're making, because nobody makes. Because like I say, I got burned pretty bad in the tech bubble in 2000, right around when that crashed. I had a lot of puts. I had bought a lot of. When it started to drop a little bit, I thought it was going to come back. So I had gone long on the market and I got killed. And you see a lot of people going long on the market with Bitcoin right now too, and they're getting killed. So I don't know, man. It's a touchy game right now. You got to be careful what you're doing. And like I say, there could be something big happening very soon. I appreciate you watching.